Okay, we are recording. Jennifer, how are you doing today?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. How are you, Stu?
I'm all right. I'm all right. We've just had a little natter, and that you said that your good mic's in the cupboard, and
Yeah,
and normally I take it you're in the cupboard as well. Then
exactly. Yeah, I was saying I can't quite do the Zoom like from the cupboard because I'm just in complete darkness, surrounded by duvets and padding. I'll have to show it to you, but yeah, that was where I spent lockdown, basically in the cupboard.
that was my next question, because like I speak to so many like creatives, whether they be musicians, stand-ups, actors, and I'm always fascinated to find how they kind of navigated their way through a couple of years when basically the brakes went on pretty much everything.
Yeah.
I know, several actors kind of had to jump through a lot of hoops to be able to still do some projects, but you just decided to just kind of hole up in your cupboard, surrounded by.
Yeah, well, I was really lucky. I've got a mate who's a producer, and I work with him quite a lot at Channel 4. I'm quite an established voiceover artist anyway. So when lockdown hit, he was like, Jen, I think you should get some equipment at home. We don't know how much you'll be able to use it, or, what this is going to look like in the next year or so.
Yeah.
But I took his advice and I went for it, and I bought my mic and got a little set up. I'm lucky I've got a spare room, so I managed to, as I say, hunker down in this cupboard. And then the work just came thick and fast. I did loads and loads of voiceovers, countless over, well, even now, I sort of do 50% from home.
Yeah.
Voiceovers. So I was so lucky in lockdown because I just continued to do that. I was lucky to come off the back of a bit of theatre, or a year of theatre actually. So I was quite ready to have a break from theatre.
Yeah.
So for me to be able to continue to do that, knowing that so many people were at a loss without being able to do theatre, I just count myself so unbelievably lucky in that sense. So
alongside being able to sort of work, which is obviously a welcome distraction from being in lockdown, which was a very surreal experience. I'm talking about it like it's gone and forgotten now. I was only in Germany like last week, and it's still rife. Like it's still, you can't, everything shuts at 10. Like I was told that the face mask I took out there was illegal. I have to have this one. It was like, oh God, and it felt so long ago that you'd had to adhere to that sort of stuff. But how did you find just the whole concept of not being able to do what you normally do, like being stuck indoors? How was that?
I mean, I think because I was able to continue working, I was really fortunate. I really missed seeing my friends and family. Didn't we all? I'm sure. But again, I just so fortunate. I was so lucky not to be too close to anyone who kind of lost their lives or was really affected by what was going on. I just, I was lucky. I didn't mind being at home so much because I could kind of continue earning an income.
Yeah.
So I can't complain, aside from, the very obvious.
Yeah. So you said that you still do a lot of 50% and a lot of your current work from home now.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's one of the things that's really sort of fascinated me, like coming out of lockdown in the UK, and how everything's changed. It was like podcasting. I didn't know what Zoom was 2 years ago, Jen. It was like I had to arrange a certain time to be in this studio with this person, and I live in Essex. I was like, get a train into town, and I've got to like jump on a tube, get to this studio, and it was like for 1 hour's podcast, it would write the best part of my day off. And it
must be such a different life for you now.
It's so bananas. And do you know what? It's really weird. I said to my missus, I was like, I've always just loved to be able to work from my laptop. That's it. And I can work anywhere in the world. And now I've got it. I hate it.
Really? Yeah. Oh
no. I'm not a really sociable person. I really forgot how much I miss being around people. I was like, it's overrated.
In the flesh, it's quite different.
Home. Yeah.
Yeah. I see what you mean. That's so funny. You're living the dream, but you're not living the dream.
I know. It's a nightmare.
It's always that grass is greener, isn't it? You always want what you can't have. And I think that's it, isn't it? A bit of a balance of both. My other half, he works a lot from home now, which was never really on the cards before. But he is able to go into the office and enjoy the sort of different lunches there on a random Thursday and so on, and also work from home and, you know, really finish at 6 on the dot or whatever if he needs to. So balance, I think that's been really good in that sense.
Okay. I mean, I'll tell you who's got a great sense of balance. Chris Rock. I mean, oh my God.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Now, what can I say about that? I've got a lot to say about that, Steve.
Oh, let's hear it, because we're recording this the morning after the Oscars, and like so many of us, we turned our social media on this morning and it was like, oh my God, Will Smith has just whacked Chris Rock.
Amazing. Then went on to win an award. I mean, I wonder how he must be feeling this morning. Crazy.
Mixed bag, I would have thought.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you make of that then?
I mean, you know, I suffer from alopecia. Yeah, so just like Jada, I feel like that slap meant a lot for a lot of people who suffer with that. It probably wasn't quite the right retaliation. But I really felt for her, you know, like, I guess I'd be interested to know whether he realises why she has a buzz cut, why she looks like that these days. I'd like to think he does know. But if he does he know what level we're on yet? You know, that she can joke about it, let alone in such a public way. So I feel like he was right to be reprimanded in that sense, that he just doesn't know where she's at.
Yeah.
And dealing with that, having gone through it myself, is not easy. And that is like the most public stage you can get for someone to make a joke like that at your expense.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a choice for her to look that way, despite looking absolutely phenomenal, might I say. I just think you can't really do that in such a public way. You don't know where she's at. And by the look on her face when he made the comment, it was not okay. And so, he fought her corner, and I support that fully. Maybe, as I say, not with a slap, but...
Yeah, well, you know, sometimes you emotions kind of, you know, hit fever pitch, and you do what you think's right in that moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's bizarre that it happened to be on the biggest stage in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. But hey, for me, that's alopecia awareness right there, you know, and people be talking about it and maybe just understanding a different side of this thing. Because if she had lost her hair for other reasons, I don't think he'd be joking about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm not sure that makes it okay, you know.
Have you ever? I'm one of my good friends is Gavin Porter, and
way.
Yeah, have you ever watched her documentary she made last year called Being Gavin Porter? That's that's a very interesting watch.
Oh my gosh, amazing! I feel like I listened to a podcast recently. I don't think she recorded it recently. Was it Louis Theroux? Did she do?
She's done Louis, yeah. She's done a really good one with Scroobius Pip as well. That's a really good.
Oh,
really
nice.
good listen. And,
I love that she's your mate. Oh my gosh, that's like 2 degrees of separation. That's so cool. Wow.
Oh, she's wonderful. She's a super lovely lady. Right. Nice. Okay. Current affairs put to bed. Pandemic. We've binned that off. Right. Let's talk records. And I'll tell you what, before we even talk about any, when you sent your list over, I looked through it and I only know one of the tracks. Right?
No, shut up. Really?
And I like to think I'm a proper music anorak. And I was like, and then I thought, right, I'm going to put the playlist together for Spotify. And I thought, right, obviously I'll go and do my prep. I've literally been dancing all morning.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what we want. Oh, that's so cool. I don't know. I mean, maybe I was a little bit obscure with my choices. Like, I kind of wanted to go, you know, like somewhere that isn't the obvious, I suppose.
Yes.
In places. Yeah.
Okay, right.
I love that you've been dancing. That's good.
Right, Jen, tell me the song that you think's got the greatest ever intro, please, mate.
Well, I went for Mark Anthony, Vivir Mi Vida. I hope you were dancing to that one.
I was, but I had never heard it.
Really? Right, okay. Yeah, so I basically discovered that song when I was on holiday in Cuba in 2014. And we would go clubbing, and I don't know if you've ever been, but like a bottle of rum is like pittance. It doesn't cost anything.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely wasted and on the dance floor, literally like as soon as you arrive. And that song was just playing everywhere. And you would just hear the intro.
Yeah.
And everyone would go nuts.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love it to this day. And yeah, that's it.
Wonderful. Are you a dancer, Jen?
Well, I used to be.
I don't mean professionally. I mean,
right,
like,
okay, cool.
you like a dance.
Oh yeah, I love a dance. I love a dance. Not so much professionally anymore, but yeah, I do love a dance now. Absolutely. And that was the song that me and my now husband did our first dance to.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, and we did a little salsa routine. Well, a bit of, you know, self-made salsa.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to start a little session of, we're going to regress a little here. And so
all right,
for track 2, Jen, please tell me the first song you remember hearing that had an emotional impact on you, please.
So this song is by Prince, Nico, and Mbaga. He's a Nigerian artist. And this song, I just remember it from very, very, very early childhood. Sweet Mother, it's called. And it just, again, like takes me back to when I was just tiny and being dragged around these Ghanaian parties with my mum. And it would be played everywhere. They would, you know, they'd always be on the dance floor dancing to this song.
Yeah.
And actually heard it recently, just in a restaurant. Went to this ramen bar in Soho, and it just happened to be playing, and it just took me straight back. So it was right on the edge of my brain when I was, when I was thinking about, oh, what is that? Yeah, and it just took me, you know, trying to think of really early memories.
Yeah.
And this song is one of them.
Wonderful. Where was growing up, Jen?
I was born and bred in Epsom, Surrey, and I'm only down the road now in Croydon. See our postcode in Coulsdon, and yeah, in and around, back and forth to London. I was only sort of half an hour away on the train, so as soon as I could get out and go, I was up to town and to like Balham, and I lived in Clapham for a bit with all my housemates and stuff. So all south of the river.
How was Epsom like growing up as a youngster?
Good question. Well, I was one of few black people in my school.
Mm-hmm.
I think in my year there was one other girl, and she was mixed race. So it was definitely a predominantly white area, but actually quite mixed. I had lots of Filipino friends, and they were at school. I was at school with them as well, and really enjoyed, you know, hanging out with them. And I think that was, you know, I found sort of solace in that, because although they weren't of the same culture, they celebrated different culture, and we kind of identified with each other in that way. You know, it was maybe different to kind of the norm or everyone else at school, who was less cultural. Can I say that? Do you know what I mean?
You felt like you were in minority groups at the school.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I had a great childhood in the area. I mean, I think I went to the Brit School as well, actually, which is at Selhurst. And I was never really a crisis of identity. But when I did go there were definitely people who had grown up in a sort of predominantly black background who didn't really understand me, this black girl who had quite a posh accent, you know. They didn't quite understand me and where I came from, even though I looked the way I looked. I didn't sound how they looked, typically like South Londoners, I suppose.
But was you questioning them as much as they were questioning you in your head?
I don't think so, because I think they were a bit closer to the stereotype of young black people, as I say, in Selhurst. So although it was never an issue for me being in Epsom growing up, and I would do it again, it definitely raised some sort of questions the older I got. I didn't have many black friends until the Brit School, until even past that when I was working professionally, because I think that we didn't identify in the same way.
Yeah.
My closest friends were white, but it obviously had nothing to do with their race. It just was our upbringing, and that meant that we were similar people. So,
okay.
Do you know Epsom?
Not that well, no. Like, I'm half hour outside of London, but a little bit further around the M25, and it's like I'm always fascinated, Jen, as to why like people that live so close to London, and it was the original idea as to why I was going to set this podcast up. Was initially called Off the Beat and Track, because I'd speak to musicians and artists from Essex, and or whether they be actors, whatever, the instant thing was like, you're going to move to London. And it's like, why? And it was like, and people up, that further north would be like, I'm going to move to Manchester and try and sort of, make it in my band or whatever. And it was like, why people gravitate to a city where they feel that, like, is there more opportunity there? I don't know. Can you not start your own scene, outside of that? I mean, we're only half an hour outside of London. Yeah, it seems a long way. Like when you look at maybe culture, fashion, scenes, venues, nightlife, it does feel like that half an hour, a lot changes when you get into the city. And, well, look, I'm going to stay in the formative years for this one, Jen. I'm going to ask you the song that reminds you of your time at school, please.
So I picked Hey Ma by Cameron, because that kind of old R&B sound feels like the soundtrack to my school years.
Yeah.
All these Filipino mates that I'm talking about, and I hope they listen to this and they'll know exactly who they are. We used to like meet up after school and make up dances to these tracks, and that was definitely one of them. All of these, they just have that's what we love about music, isn't it? They just immediately take you back to a time and place in your life, or at least that's what it does for me. That's that old school R&B sound, and I love the feel good of it, and I can think back to, oh my God, that dance move we put in there, and Cameron, Hey Ma.
See, do you subscribe to the concept of a guilty pleasure? Because for me, when people talk about music and go like, that's it's a guilty pleasure, and it's like, why are you feeling guilty about that? Something that makes you feel good, like whether it be something cheesy, and I don't subscribe to that. I don't know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, no, I love that. I mean, there's a time and place for all of it, I think, generally. I'm into vocals, a good beat, a good melody normally. And that doesn't always have to be, R&B. It's whenever the moment takes you, and, what the soundtrack for that day is. So
absolutely.
No, it's just pleasure, isn't it? Yeah, don't feel guilty about it. Enjoy it.
Did you enjoy school?
I did, yeah. I did. I've got a really good group of mates still. Particularly, in fact, I married my husband. We went to high school together.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I've known him 23 years or something, and there's still like quite a big group of us from high school, which I loved. Yeah, so I just when I think back, it was all camaraderie, and we kind of we did the work, we worked hard, but we also had a good time.
Yeah. So you said you went to the Brit School. How old was you when you went there?
I went at 16 to 18, and they were the most amazing years of my life. I think, by 16, knowing that I wanted to do something in the arts, and I was a great academic, but I had to work really hard to be good at like maths, as an example. So when I heard that I could do it full time, this theatre, dancing, singing thing, that was like music to my ears. And then I managed to do that at the Brit School, and then also to be surrounded by all these other kids who wanted to do the same thing full time. And just it's like I'd found my people. Yeah. Although I was studying musical theatre for the time there, I was enjoying those on the music strand and in the art strand and in the straight drama strand, and we'd go and watch each other's shows and stuff. So yeah, it was amazing. I hope it's still the same today. I'd be interested to know.
My youngest is 16, and I've said this before on the podcast, but she had a rubbish time at school, and she's at college now.
Yeah.
And as you just said, you got to 16 and you found your tribe, and that's when everything changes. That's when, like, you get to that age and you find you're not thrust together in a school with people that you're thrust. You know, you put yourself in classes, you put yourself in groups of friends then where you have shared interests, and that's when you start to kind of trim the fat off a little bit and find your tribe and find those like-minded people that you want to go out with outside of college and things like that. And I think that's such an important point. And I spent years trying to hammer that home to her when she was having a rubbish time at school, going, don't worry, trust me, get through this. And
she found it.
Like, and it's lovely. It's lovely
Amazing.
to see. And
that's good.
So, you said that, was you encouraged creatively before you got to the Brits at school?
I would say so. Yeah, definitely. Actually, more by the people who were teaching me at school. My drama teacher in particular, she was amazing, and I was doing drama, really loving it. She knew I could sing. It was a Catholic school, and they used to they used to encourage me, ask all the time to like sing in school masses and lead the choir and stuff. And I did it quite willingly, quite enjoyed that. So my drama teacher knew I could sing and that I enjoyed the acting. She said, oh, well, you should really start dancing. I thought, okay, yeah, quite, why not? And in Epsom, there's a big dance school called Lane Theatre Arts. And again, I had a friend that was going there. She'd been going since she was sort of 3 years old. I was about 13 by this point. And I ended up going there and doing my after school classes in ballet, jazz, modern at Lane's. And so that put me in good stead. So by the time I got to choosing my options, I was doing PE and dance in PE and then also drama. It was kind of a natural progression to try and do some more of it. By the time I got to 16. So and big encouragement from those teachers and never any, I mean, my mum's a psychiatric nurse and my dad's a town planner. So they were not stagey or arty people, creatives, but always supportive in what I wanted to do. Necessarily understand it. In fact, till today, I'm not sure they fully understand what I'm doing, but always supported it. So
wonderful.
Yeah, I was lucky again in that respect.
Okay, Jen, tell me the first song you remember buying from a record store.
It was King of My Castle, Wham Do Project. Is that the song that you know?
Do you know what? I do know that as well.
You must know that one.
I know the next one, but I do know that, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's a tune, right?
It's a tune, absolutely. I just remember having like this, it was like a single, but it had like 4 different types of the track on it. Yeah. That was it. I don't know why. I mean, I guess I was obsessed with it at the time.
I want to ask you about what it's like to get to the Brit School and find yourself amongst so many like-minded people, and then obviously there'll be a lot of performance. And I want to know at 16 how confident you was.
Good question. I think I was pretty confident. Because I'd been going to Lanes, I suppose, I knew I had some sort of talent.
Yeah.
And people asked me to sing like at mass and stuff, so my voice must have been kind of good. So that gave me some confidence. When I was at the Brit School, I was branded as the dancer, which is quite interesting because I definitely wasn't, but it just was like compared to the other people who were there. Jessie J was in my year actually, for the 2 years that I was there. So she was clearly a singer, you know, in that kind of, although she was an incredible dancer and stuff as well. I was branded a dancer. And I think maybe that gave me some confidence as well, because if I could be at least top of my game in one of these 3 art forms, singing, dancing or acting, I didn't really mind which, but you know, if people sort of valued that talent and put me on a pedestal in one of those areas, then I guess I was quite happy about it. Yeah, and I think I seemed to do well. I managed to get some decent parts to perform, and yeah, I think yeah, I was confident. I think also because you have to audition to get in there, that in itself gives you some sort of boost, because you think, well, who else had to audition that didn't get in, and I'm one of the lucky few that did. So, and
also the people that have been before you, obviously, you know, you must be aware of like how many people that had gone to the Brit School before you that had gone on to do amazing things, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And you're thinking, gosh, well, I'm in this place as well, so I must be okay to some extent. Yeah, so I guess quite confident.
Confidence aside, you know, that was then, this is now, you're still working, you know, you're doing, you know, incredible things in a ridiculously difficult industry. Tell me about your relationship with Drive.
Well, I think that at every step that gets tested. So even as far back as, well, take the Brit School as an example, you know, auditioning to get in there. Had I not got in there, maybe I'd have thought about a different career path at that point, or a different, you know, I went to the Brit School because I could specialise in theatre and dance, but I could also do my English AS, which I did. And it meant that my qualifications, once I finished, I could go to university if I really wanted to. So always keeping my options open. But I think because I got a success at that stage, then I think, okay, cool, I'm good for the next level.
Yeah.
Similar thing once I left the Brit School. And I auditioned for a few drama schools. I got into the one that I wanted to go to. That was a degree course. That was my top choice. I mean, there were others that I didn't audition for, and maybe I wouldn't have got into, but it didn't matter because this was my top choice. And again, at that point, I was afforded a yes. Great, I'm good for the next level, you know, and then so on and so forth. And once I finished doing my 3 years at London Studio Centre, I managed to get an agent. Great, that's the next level, you know. So I feel like that kind of gave me the drive to succeed. Getting yeses at those different points, that's a confidence boost at each of those different points, I think. But right now, I think it's this carrot of opportunity that is always dangled. And I feel like, I guess maybe, you could get an agent is the same thing as, there's this film that you could be filming or you might be auditioning for. And that at the moment, I think, is what gives me the drive to sort of continue, just because there is such a plethora of, I want to say, opportunity. It's out there. Whether it's going to be, whether it's going to end up on my path, I don't know, you know. But the work is out there. There are possibilities. That's the better word, I think, because you're not always afforded an opportunity. It's not always an opportunity for me to be able to take, but the possibility of it is there. So, yeah, I think that's what keeps you going.
Yeah, lovely. I'm going to take you clubbing. Track 5.
Yes, please.
Jen,
yes, please.
Tell me the song that soundtracked your years in Clubland, please.
This is the one that you knew?
No, it's the next one. Sorry, it's the next one.
The next one. Oh, okay, cool, fine. Yeah, because I mean, I know this song, but I was like, I need to find, what's it called? Calabria by Natasha. And it was released in 2008. And so this is now my years at London Studio Centre. We were living in Camden, Euston. And it was a bit weird because we were clubbing basically only on a Friday and Saturday night, whereas a lot of other people at normal unis would be like every night or every other night in Sheffield and so on. because we were training so hard. We were dancing like 9 to 5 and we were exhausted, but we just, you know, we would force ourselves out and we'd hit the dance floor and this intro would come on and we thought we were it, you know? And I think also being like central London, it was crazy because it wasn't cheap to go out at all.
Where would you go? You weren't going out in Camden then?
No, well, we did a bit, Proud Galleries. We loved it there,
Proud.
but yeah, we loved it there. But it was like Cafe de Paris and Movida and I don't know, Funky Buddha were they at the time? And I don't really know why. It's not even that they were necessarily the cool places, but I think we had like our one night a week. We were going to go big and go large, and women didn't have to pay to get in, right? Which was nuts. It was just like,
really?
Yeah. I remember there was a time where it was like the men always had to pay like 20 quid or whatever. As long as you were with a couple of girls, you could go in. The girls could go in for free, and I don't know. So we used to go there, and we would. One of my mates in particular, we would nominate her to like talk to some people and somehow end up on their table and drink their booze instead of having to fight ourselves.
Well, I need to clarify here, right? So you didn't pay to get in, and then you find yourself a table where you ain't got to pay to buy drinks as well.
Shamefully, yeah. But I mean, it was central London. What were we going to do?
I know, it ain't cheap around there.
Exactly. Yeah, and then we were at dance college, so we were like in the shape of our lives, and we just thought we were absolutely it. So when me and the girls, if we went out now, we'd probably get ready to that song.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah,
love it. I'm going to take you home, Jen, for track 6. Favourite song from an artist from your home county, please.
Yes, so Stormzy is from Croydon.
Oh, no.
I'm technically not from Croydon, but my postcode is Croydon, CR.
I'll let you have it.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. So I've picked Blinded by Your Grace.
Oh, what a cracker, right?
What tune? Yeah.
Parts 1 and 2. Like, lovely.
Indeed. Yeah.
Lovely.
He's amazing. So
bit of a softer side of him as well.
Yeah, lovely.
Excellent. Have you met him?
I haven't, no. Have you?
No. He's done my mate's podcast, and he seems delightful. Just seems like a really interesting dude. Yeah. Have you met any of your heroes in your sector?
No. I mean, I'd remember, right?
Sure. Have you never been starstruck around someone?
Oh, I have been starstruck.
Come on, give me the goss.
I'm trying to think who. I mean, because I'm really lucky to work with, some famous names, or have worked with some famous names. So you have to act really cool. You can't be starstruck.
Well, on that then, while you have a little think, I'll ask you another question then. What's your relationship like with, and I'm not suggesting you haven't earned your right to be on any set you've ever been on, but I've spoke to some, people that have played on stages at Wembley Stadium. They've all kind of gone, oh God, yeah. Like, do you ever suffer with imposter syndrome?
No. I don't. I feel like I haven't quite got there yet to suffer from that. I would like to. It'd be good to get to that point where I'm going, what am I doing here? But no, I feel like, not like you said, I do feel like I have earned my right to be on those. I know that's not the question you're asking. But generally, I always feel like I'm reaching for more, I suppose. Yeah. So where I have been, I go, yeah, this is great. What's the next thing? Sure. Why aren't I there? So... Yeah. So I look forward to experiencing that.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, you don't want that. You don't want imposter syndrome to get in the way of the drive, because I guess if you're just pushing, then I don't know. I think just through doing this and other bits and bobs I've done, I've just had a few moments where it was just like, wow, this is a bit odd.
Right, yeah.
Has this happened?
You must have met a few of your heroes then.
A few, yeah. But I'm just a music obsessive. But Chuck D from Public Enemy, it blew my mind. It blew my fucking socks off, and I'm not going to lie. And
Love it.
I'm 48. And Public Enemy, when I was 18, they were like game changed everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I got to chat to Chuck D. And so that was mental. That was really surreal. Never thought in a million years that would ever happen. And
so I always say never to meet your heroes, right? But you don't. It was fine. He was great.
I've met one of my favourite musicians, which was him.
Yeah.
I met my favourite actor, aside from you, obviously, Jen, which is Maxine Peake. And Maxine Peake was one of the most delightful human beings I've ever spoken to.
Love that.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't subscribe to Don't Meet Your Heroes, only because I've been lucky that the people that I've met have always been really lovely.
That's what we want. Yeah,
to be honest, Jen, I've done nearly 400 of these podcasts now.
Amazing.
And everyone's
thank you, by the way.
Oh, no, absolute pleasure.
In that lineup, I feel really privileged.
But everyone's been bloody lovely. I've never hung up and just thought, oh, that weren't much fun. Everyone's maybe it's just because I'm chatterbox and
maybe it says more about you, Stu. Maybe.
Hang on a minute. You're interviewing me now. Switch it back.
Sorry.
Can't go into the dark place. That's my head. Oh God, we can't have that unfolding on here.
Brilliant. Okay, right. I thought of someone who is one of my heroes.
Go on.
Idris Elba. I met Idris Elba. I can't remember what year it was. Maybe 2011, 2012. I was working in Canada, in Toronto. 6 weeks. It was a random last-minute theatre job, chess we were doing out there, and I lived in Toronto for 6 weeks. And on the final night, we were having this party in this bar just around the corner from the theatre. And I was single at the time, and I remember my mate came over, my mate Cameron, who I've been working with, this Australian guy, and he's like, oh my God, there's some really hot guys at the bar. Oh my God, don't look now, whatever. And I looked, ignored him. I looked. I was like, are you kidding me? He's like, I know, they're hot, right? I was like, Cameron, are you kidding me? Bloody Idris Elba. And someone else whose name I don't know, but he was there with a mate drinking in this bar, and he had this really funky haircut. He'd been working on some film or show out there. And I was like, I'm absolutely going over. So we ended up going out and having a drink with Idris Elba and his mate.
Hang on. Let's not fast track yet. Go back, right? So Idris Elba, right? Arguably one of the coolest, most handsome people on the planet, right? He's standing at the bar. And so most people, when they say the word starstruck, just go, oh my God, I can't go and speak to him. You just think, fuck it, I'm going straight over there.
Mate, do you know what? I couldn't not. This guy, he's there in the bar, and it's just, actually, having said this, I think I do that all the time, because the people that I get starstruck by are those whose talent I admire.
Absolutely.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, completely.
So I genuinely want to go over and be like, oh my God, you're amazing. Credit where credit's due. Mm-hmm. And given the opportunity, I will do it, basically. So wonderful. I guess that's what happened. Yeah. And he was just delightful. He was such a laugh. I remember trying to get photos with him, and he just wouldn't take a photo. He'd pull a face, or he'd put his hand in my face. So I've actually got the best photos of him taking an awful photo.
Because you've got that moment, right?
Yeah.
Oh, lovely. Oh, what a brilliant story.
There we go, yeah. How could I forget?
Perfect.
It was great. Actually, subsequently, I then worked with Dominic West. Do you know him?
Of course.
From the White, yeah. They would have been his mates. And then I worked with Wendell Pierce. I've worked with who are these random chance encounters working with these people from that iconic show.
Oh, wonderful.
Why, yeah.
Last track, Jem, and this is when you get to play DJ and Tastemaker. And or as the kids call it now, influencer.
Oh God!
I want you to tell me a song that you think many people may not know that you would like them to hear.
Yeah. So the song I picked is called "Chariot" by an artist called Mega. She just has an incredible vocal, and the song is just beautiful. And the lyrics are really quite uplifting. Again, this was my aisle song. I walked down the aisle to it at my wedding, and I can't we don't actually know how we found this song. Ollie's a music fiend as well. He's my husband, and he will just listen to music randomly throughout the day and then add it to a playlist. Or, you know, hear a song on a film and add it to a playlist. And he did that with this song, but he doesn't remember where it came from.
Yeah.
But it's just an absolutely gorgeous tune. I don't know. What did you think?
I thought it was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Stunning.
Well, what we do, James, we make it easy for people to hear that, because we put together a Spotify playlist of all of your song picks, and the link to that will be in the show notes of this show. So as we find ourselves steaming into 2022 now, with little sign that we're going to be back in any kind of lockdown or anything like that, what are you looking forward to personally from the rest of this year, and what's going to be happening professionally?
Well, I'm currently working on a 5-part documentary series for the BBC One, as a voiceover artist. It's a snapshot into 5 different types of religion, which is quite interesting. So that's my current for work. I'm hoping to do a bit more screen. We'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to watching Raised by Wolves season 2, which comes out on the 6th of April in the UK on Now TV and Sky Atlantic. Yeah. And I'm expecting my first child. So
wonderful.
There's going to be a crazy whirlwind towards the end of the summer. And yeah, that should be really exciting.
Oh, what a wonderful thing to look forward to. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. Jen, it's been an absolute delight talking records with you, mate. And if people want to keep up to speed with everything you're doing, where's the best place to keep up with you, Jen?
Probably Instagram at the moment.
Cool. Well, if it's all right with you,
where I'm posting what I'm doing.
When this comes out, I can tag you in it so people can go and
absolutely
follow you. Wonderful.
Amazing. Jen, Steve, thanks so much for having me.
Absolute pleasure, mate.
Really fun.
Absolute joy. I'm going to press stop right now. Bang. Oh, thanks, mate. Lovely. That was great.